Welcome to my show. My name is Marcel Johnson, and this is The Freedom Experience.
Man, what's going on? Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Welcome to the Freedom Experience. My name is Marcel Johnson. I have somebody here with me today. Is one of my good friends. You know what I mean? He's incredible. But first of all, I ask that you guys would like, comment, subscribe, and share with your people. You know what I mean? Because we all on a journey and we all growing. But I'm excited, man, because I got somebody here with me. My brother, Doug Ress. Did I pronounce your last name right?
Reese.
See, well, all I know is Doug, but Reese. My bad, y'all. But I was so thankful, bro, that you took the time to come because everybody I have on my show are usually busy people who are being very productive and just, you know what I mean, operating in their gift. But my bro is the owner of Longevity Life, and it focuses on health and wellness. And it covers so many different facets. We're going to get into it, but I just want to tell you congratulations on that, bro. And welcome to the show.
Thanks, man. Happy to be here. Sure.
For sure. Thank you for coming. So the first question, I'm going to just jump right into the interview, right? The first question is, how did you come up with the name Longevity Life? Because as I was even saying it to the audience, I was processing it like longevity life is something we all want. And you said, like, you named it that. Where did that come from?
So originally, I knew I wanted to do something with health and wellness, and we had a name. It wasn't very good at first. Healthy Meats 360 was the name of it. And we were like, well, healthy meats around the world was kind of like the concept.
Right.
And I was literally laying in bed one night, and I woke up out of my sleep and was like, longevity. Like the word, like I've never used it in my life at that time. I think I was 25 years old. And I grabbed my dictionary and it said, long life, the full duration of. And I was like, longevity of life, longevity life. And it was like, changed the name like that next day, got the LLC. And it was like, it was just a moment. And that's where I feel like is how God works. You know what I mean?
It sticks. That name sticks even with me. Like, I won't forget it. And then something else is that, well, first of all, Longevity Life. My brother does like meal preps. He even brought me some food. So thank you, bro. He knows that I'm pescatarian. So he brought me to like the fish, the salmon and shrimp and stuff like that. So thank you for that. You know what I mean? I appreciate that. And he didn't bring one, y'all. He brought like a nice package. Like you gave me, 9, like he gave me a whole little meal prep situation. I appreciate that, bro. And tell the audience, what is Longevity Life?
Longevity Life is a local meal prep company currently. We deliver healthy meals directly to your door on a weekly and bi-weekly basis. We have low-carb, macro-friendly, and bulk meat packages.
Yeah.
They're already pre-made. All you have to do is throw them in the microwave, heat and eat, and get healthy. All of our meals are trackable through MyFitnessPal app, so if you're someone who tracks your calories, we offer that part as well. So that's where we're starting, but we plan to venture into some more things on the supplement side, also the training and some other cool things that I'm going to kind of keep under wraps for now, but yeah.
Yeah, and like something that I'm going to say, because he said keep under wraps, but I'm going to just expose it because my audience is family to me. You know what I'm saying? My brother, so him and one of my other brothers, two of my other brothers, a couple of us, we're putting together events because, you know, I'm all about like health and wellness and fitness and getting your mental together. So shout out my brother Justin, who's on the fitness, my brother Yusef, who does the music, I do the speaking, and then my brother Doug, you know what I mean? He comes through with the food and the health and the wellness and the science behind it because little do y'all know, my brother, like, he lost so much weight. Y'all are seeing a transformation right here. So he's not just selling you something. He's actually, you know what I mean, experiencing it and going through it too. So I wanted to ask you a question about that. Like, I want to dig into that story, but is that kind of what launched it? Or did you have that idea before?
Yeah, so that's pretty much how, like I said, it was Healthy Meats 360. We were going to sell basically similar to like an Omaha Steaks where we give you the meat and you cook it yourself.
Right.
And then through me transforming myself, I was hosting my meal prep online.
Wow.
And I was working labor jobs, just trying to figure out what I was going to do with Longevity Life. And then someone said, will you do that for me? And I took them up on the opportunity.
Bro, look how God works. It's like, so something that came to my mind is like, when you transform yourself, then you learn how to help and transform other people. But it's like first you must go through it. And like, so tell the people about your weight loss journey and stuff like that.
So currently, I have like a 75-pound weight loss underneath my belt.
Wow, 75.
Yeah, so I was almost 250 pounds. At my lowest weight, I was like a 167, like the leanest weight I was. Now I'm actually working on a challenge right now to get back down to my best physique ever. But yeah, it took me about 1.5 years to lose the weight, and then I started to educate myself. So it was mostly just making smarter choices is kind of how it all started. Just like cutting out the cakes and the sweets and the pops, and I quit drinking, and like those sorts of things really helped out. And then from there, it was like educating myself, and I actually started to watch YouTube videos.
Yeah.
And all like at that time in 2015, 16,
Right.
the education out there was like you could get anything you needed.
Booming.
So a lot of the fitness influencers were putting out basically the science, so you could figure out how to do it. They had the apps; it was all free.
Yeah.
So it's like they give it to you for free, and then you're viewing them, so they're getting paid off of YouTube. So it all worked out, and these influencers were collaborating. So I was at like the peak of the education side of it, and I took them up on the offer again. Learned, educated myself on that. It's very simple. It's science. Very scientific. It's energy in, energy out.
That's right.
In most cases. So if you consume less than you're eating, then you'll lose weight. If you consume more than your body burns, then you'll gain weight. And if you stay the same, you'll stay the same. So very simple. So once you know your numbers, you can do whatever you want with it.
So it's really about like just to dive a little bit into eating, because I know for myself, I didn't give up the sweets, the cookies, the pie. I did a little bit when I'm pescatarian. I did change some things, but you're absolutely right about that. It's like the way your body digests food and the way that like the speed and stuff, you don't want to eat more than your body can digest, more than it burns up. So I try to like eat and then allow myself to kind of burn and work that off before I just stuff my face. That's a good way of losing weight. But I love how you looked at losing weight as a science. And I just want to say, man, congratulations. If y'all are at home, clap your hands for my brother. Because I feel like anybody who loses weight on that drastic number, 75, 50 pounds, even 30, whatever, but almost 100 pounds, I feel like there has to be a mental shift. Like something mentally has to happen for you to have the discipline and have the, you know what I mean, the seriousness to go through with that. And I think if you apply that same mindset to something else, you'll be able to go far in life and have longevity, just like longevity life. So you apply what you went through in your weight loss journey by meal prepping. Somebody else seen his gift. Like, bro, you're meal prepping, do that for me. And it took off. Did you find it difficult to meal prep for other people because it's kind of different than meal prepping for yourself?
Ah, geez, that's a hard question. I mean, you know, it's just, no, it was actually easy because I felt like I was doing what I needed to be doing. And I believe it's like a more of a divine situation where like now that we're getting bigger and I'm hiring people, I find it to be trying to still find that love that I once had, because it was like I'm providing you a service to help you get to where I was and where you can be.
That's right.
So now that I'm not necessarily doing all the cooking, it's a whole different aspect, and I'm still trying to find that. But I wouldn't say it was difficult. I actually, it was exciting because, I mean, just to tell you like a simple thing. So there's like 3 guys at work, and all I had to do was just do math. It was like, okay, I have this many people. The meals have to have this much protein, so I need to buy this much meat divided by this many meals. So it was just, I worked at the casino for a couple years, so my numbers were always sharp. So it was like,
come on,
oh, 10 pounds, okay. If it's 8 ounces per, that's 20 meals I can do out of one 10-pound log. So then I was able to kind of do the quick math, look at a bag, calculate it real quick, and see how much I'd have to buy. So it was like kind of fun figuring out the numbers, and not as hard as you would think. But now we're systematic. We're doing like 1,000 meals a week, so it's a lot, you know, a lot different situation than Mom's Kitchen when I started.
Yeah, now you're doing. His numbers got bigger. Something, I swear, everything is like a lesson to me. I feel like appreciate the jobs and the hardships and the experiences that you go through, because it prepares you for that. Like you said, the casino thing prepares you to deal with numbers. It's so funny. God always, if you look back, he's always weaving and putting everything together to work out for you. He's trying to work it out for you. You know what I mean? He always wants us to win, and I love that about God so much. Thank you, God. Like, he always has us winning. You feel me?
Yeah.
And so I wanted to ask you, is there any other entrepreneurs in your family, or are you the first entrepreneur to break out?
Actually, there's a lot. There's a lot of entrepreneurs in my family.
Did you always know you wanted to be an entrepreneur?
No, that's what's weird. Because like it's like looking back, I'm like, my dad owned his own business when I was growing up.
Okay.
He recently passed away, but he owned a cleaning business when we grew up. He got into like drugs and alcohol.
Sorry about your dad.
No,
you know my dad recently passed away too.
Right.
So
we talked about that a little bit.
We get it.
But yeah, so he owned a business and was super successful in the early 90s.
Wow.
He let the money get the best of him, and he went the route of drugs and alcohol and that sort of things, and he was gone most of my life. But
Right.
I did have that earlier on, but I didn't really understand. I was too young. He left when I was 10, so I was still
Right,
like very
wow.
young. My uncle, he owned a mattress store. He had 13 mattress stores. My uncle on my mom's side, both of
Right.
my uncles, construction business and
Right.
AC, like a lot of entrepreneurs in my family.
Had a lot.
But I didn't learn from any of them. That's what's weird.
Man, listen to this. Teach your family a lot. Do you
Right.
find that family is competitive? It's like a family will have a business and they kind of want you to stay in your struggle while they shine and feel better. But it's like, teach your family, teach your kids the hustle, bro. Like, that's not cool. And I feel like for you to have all them entrepreneurs and nobody took the time out to show you that, that's unfortunate. But I want to say I always pull the parallel in childhood. Because in your childhood, it's kind of when a lot of your purpose is revealed to you, but you kind of can't see it because it's kind of covered with trauma.
Yeah.
And you have childhood traumas. What are some of the childhood traumas that you faced?
I would definitely say the parents' divorce.
Wow. Okay.
You know, early on, like I said, around 9, 10 years old, dad wasn't coming home at night.
Wow.
And when you look back as a kid, you're just like, you know, what I've learned is kids just survive. That's what they do.
That's right.
So I spent most of my time at like friends' houses and stuff. My mom was dealing with her depression.
Wow.
You know, going to bed at 7 o'clock.
So like abandonment.
Yeah. So I
Yeah.
mean, we had a house, we had food, but like she wasn't there. So I was using my friends' parents, and I learned like through those. Basically, any of my kids' parents that I grew up with, they always loved me because I knew how I had to act to get what I wanted.
Exactly.
So I'd go over there, I'd fold my blankets, I would bring my dishes in. They'd be like, you know,
man.
Doug, he's the best. And it was like I knew what I had to do to get the love that I wanted that I might have been missing. And I come to find this out way after the fact. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, that through my parents' divorce was definitely a huge thing for me. And again, my being overweight, because I think I found through this process of transforming myself is why I used food and how I used food to push some of that stuff deeper. So
What do you feel like? How do you feel like people treated you because of your weight? Like, what was the treatment you got from outsiders?
So I was always a pretty like popular kid. I played sports and stuff, and the funny kid. So like I used my humor to like as a defense mechanism. I call myself fat before someone else could.
Come on.
So I'd always be like, oh yeah, like this shirt don't fit, like, you know, and then it was like I was the funny fat guy.
Right.
Which I come to realize that wasn't really a good thing necessarily for my own self, and that led me down the road. So I was using food as I would basically use food as a way to feel good. It makes you feel good.
Like a coping mechanism.
Yeah, coping, exactly.
Yeah, for sure. And I feel like you even calling yourself fat and doing all that stuff as a kid, it's just reinforcing negative self-talk. And basically, that's a childhood trauma that a lot of us experience, that when you get older, you have to kind of renew your mind. This is why I love God so much, because he'll take you through all of that just to show you what negative self-talk is, have you experience it, and then give you a different self-talk. And then you end up like Doug. But you know what I'm saying? But whenever you were dealing with that, you said people treated you like the funny fat kid or something like that. But what is something that being fat has taught you?
Jeez.
Being overweight, should I say?
Well, I found that like you didn't necessarily have to have an appearance to be liked, which was a benefit.
Okay, I love that. I love that.
Yeah, so I always was well liked, but I wasn't the most attractive person. I had all athlete friends, but I was like the most least attractive and chubbiest and shortest one, late bloomer.
Oh, man.
So, but what was an interesting thing is that as I started to develop into a man later in high school, those perceptions started to change. So that funny fat kid started to get like a little more attractive, you know. So I kind of had the switch there, but I found that, you know, a personality is a huge part of life, and making people, you know, like you is what I kind of learned through that. It's like I want to have friends, so how do I have to be to get friends? You know what I mean?
So basically, it's like, and I love that, because being overweight or having any type of physical disability or physical thing that you feel insecure about, it's really not about your appearance. It's like beauty fades, you know what I'm saying? But your character and your personality is what stays with you forever. And I feel like you learned that early on, how to have a good character, how to have a good personality. And that's what carried you over, that now you have the physical appearance that he wants. And now you have the character and the personality to go with it. And it's always a journey. Of course, we're always forever getting better. But I love the lessons that it taught you. So there's always lessons in your childhood. But I wanted to tackle another childhood trauma. When you said your dad, how he left because of like drugs and alcohol and stuff like that. Did you see that reinforced in your own life when it comes to drugs or alcohol?
So I never really got into drugs.
Right.
But I always use that as like, well, I never want to do what Dad did.
Facts.
But I found through my experiences is that the devil will find his way.
Come on.
So I got into drinking, and it was socially acceptable. It was legal.
Socially acceptable.
So that's where it started. Like I was like kind of against it up until like senior year of high school, drinking. Like never did anything, and then senior year, graduation parties, like it just took off from there.
Yep.
And he sunk his teeth in with me.
That's the trick.
And so I always said, like, I never want to be like my dad.
Yes.
But then as I went down that rabbit hole for 5 years, I realized I was becoming him with a supplement that, makes you, could make you addicted to it. So.
And I always say that when you judge your parents or judge other people, look out, because the same thing that you're judging them for is going to come back to you in your own version. And that's what happened to you. It came back to you in your own version. So that's why it's important not to judge. But I love the fact that you are in a different space now, and you went down that road, and you had a lot of difficulties, and you had some encounters that kind of threw you off, and that was a childhood trauma that you had to overcome. Where are you at today with your drinking?
So I successfully completed 7 years of sobriety.
Hey, let's go.
Yeah,
man.
So
good job, bro.
And anyone out there that's
you could do it.
Yeah, trying to get sober, I feel like it does get easier in time. I spent from 18 to 23 drinking 4 or 5 nights a week, partying. Wow. It was socially acceptable, so I kind of justified it for a while.
That's right.
Got myself in some bad situations with like DUIs and such, and finally turned myself around. But over time, it does get easier. Right. And I come to find that, when you're out with friends and they're drinking, you can still have a good time without alcohol.
Yeah. You can still have a good time without drugs and alcohol. A lot of people think because it's alcohol is socially acceptable, but if somebody was sniffing coke somewhere, you would be judging them. But at the same time, a drug is a drug.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I'm checking myself, because I used to judge people, not judge, but just look down upon certain drug choices. But myself, I drank and smoked marijuana, and I felt like this is all I'm doing. You know what I mean?
Right.
But it's just like a drug is a drug. You feel what I mean?
Yep.
And anything that takes you out of your real state of mind is an issue. But you can overcome it. That's what the message is. You can overcome whatever you're dealing with, whatever they're struggling with, you can overcome it. So what role do you feel like God played in helping you get all of this together?
Jeez. I mean, he was like, I would say he was my, just my backbone in it all. Like whenever times would get tough, he always shows up, like we talked about a little before this.
Yep.
When I got to those low points, those low points, he showed himself to me in those times. So it was, when I needed him the most, he was there. And I think that's kind of the point of it all. I don't think he's here to necessarily hold our hand and baby us through this. I think there's a war. There's a war at play here.
Come on.
And he will come when he needs to come. But sometimes you got to do the right thing, even if it doesn't feel right. And that's like something I really hold near to me, because it's, you know that you shouldn't, you may have temptation to say you're married to cheat on your wife, but you should just do the right thing because it's the right thing. So sometimes people allow their emotions to control them, whenever it should just be, you have a standard, the Bible, to live by, and those are your standards. And it's tough.
That's the whole walk. I love that you said that. Basically, God's giving you a standard. He's giving you a foundation to kind of like, and that's what I always tell people, because I have friends that don't even believe in God and stuff like that, but they still like understand the principles of the Bible. And I always tell people, I'm obsessed with the Bible. I love reading it because it teaches you things that'll keep you grounded. And then when you have God, you have Jesus, you know what I'm saying? It's an anchor. And no matter how far you go off, you can always be led right back to that. And I love that you said, you know what I mean, no matter what happened in all the seasons, God was like your backbone. Like he held it down for you. Like even in your toughest times. So if somebody's at home right now and they're feeling like God is a million miles from them, they feel like they did a ton of things wrong, they messed up relationships and people, what would you say to them?
I'll tell you what someone told me that turned me to God. It was, I was like, I had my issues when I was dealing with my DUIs and stuff. It's like, once I get this all figured out, I'm going to start reading the Bible. And a close friend of mine said, well, if you're going to do it later, why not start now? And I opened the book. Open the book.
Why not start now?
That was the first piece of wisdom I think I've ever, as I told you, first piece of wisdom that ever sunk, like actually sunk into me and was like, wow. It was just that first thought, I would say, literally my first thought. Why not start now? And I'm like, you're right. Like, but to me, it's like the littlest thing, but it made me start now. Open the book. I started in Genesis, and then I kind of like went right to the New Testament. But it's so crazy, and I think that, from my opinion, he had to get me settled down for me to listen. Because I mean, I went to youth group growing up, but I like the music and the pizza, you know.
Yeah.
And then
speaking facts,
right? And then after that, it was like sit down, listen to me, and then from there, when I opened the book, the words actually came to life. And before I would read it, it's like, what's this? And I just think that some people need a little bit of education on where to start, because Genesis is awesome, but as you get into the later books, it gets a little bit. I like the New Testament a lot.
Me too, yeah. It speaks directly to you. The Old Testament too, but I feel like give yourself some time to develop first. But I love what you said, because a lot of times people do, like we all might have had seasons where we go to church and we feel like church is a great thing, and I recommend it, go and get around people, but they think that that's all they need. But it's like sometimes you just go and you wear the fake smile and you wear the fake clothes and you go in there and you leave the same way. But when you're at home and it's behind closed doors and you open up that Bible with yourself and you just talk to God, he will reveal himself to you. You know what I'm saying? Like, God will really show you. But I love that even when you're blind, he's still like the backbone, holding it down. So is that kind of like your secret weapon to being consistent? Because my bro is super consistent in his business. Like, my bad. In your business, you wake up, like if I text bro, he's so consistent that it's like crazy to me, bro. What is the secret to your consistency? Do you think it's God?
To my consistency?
Yeah. I mean, of course, everything's God, but what do you kind of, you know what I mean?
To stay so consistent?
Yeah.
I know that if I do stop, that I won't get to where I want to go. So I think just to stay consistent that's a tough one to define, to be honest with you.
I know before we even shot this, I was talking to you and you said something that I was able to relate to. And every now and then I'll say out loud, like, I just won't give up. You know what I mean? Like, I just will never give up. Like, there's something in me that is like, I won't give up. Like, y'all are watching me right here, but just wait on it. Y'all are watching my bro right here, but just wait on it. And I think that spirit in you that's like, don't give up, and you just have a I won't give up type of spirit. How do you tap into that, though?
Right. Well, like you just said, it's kind of always there, and I think that because of where I'm at in my faith, that it will always kind of be there. It's weird. It's like trying to. I work with some kids that are trying to develop themselves, and it's like, how do you make someone want to get up every morning at 4:30 and build a business? You know what I mean?
Right. So you can't really make somebody get to that.
There is something undefined, I think, in me when I wake up, and like even just trying to relate to people and just in life, it's tough sometimes.
That's right.
It's like if you work a 9-to-5 job and then you say like, well, why are you getting up at 4:30? I'm like, I feel like that's what I need to be doing.
Yeah. So you know what I think it is? A grace. I think that like God graces us to be able to do it, and then we just accept it. So if you're at home and you feel like, I don't feel like that, like, you know what I mean, bro? Like, to be honest, I don't feel like something telling me not to give up. I feel like I here to give up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Do you think, I'm asking a question too and making a statement, but do you think that it's like they just need to ask God for the grace, for that power to feel like, I don't need to give up?
Well, they say ask, receive, right?
Wow.
Ask the door,
Wow. So, and the door be open. Facts.
Yeah. So I think that always ask. And that's something I get, like, I think I can manage everything, but
come on.
God obviously can do a lot more and has done a lot more than I can do. I think that we always need to check ourselves and ask, humble ourselves to ask.
That's been a big one too for me, humility. But I wanted to ask you, because are you engaged or you're married? You're married.
No,
you're in a relationship.
In a relationship.
Now. Okay, so in the relationship, what are some tools or some key points you can give us to like a healthy relationship?
You delegate your time.
Okay.
Prioritize your time, and communication is huge.
Communication.
Definitely make sure that everything in your life is getting the proper time that it needs. And I think to literally sit down and look at it. Yeah, balance. Look at it. I'm a numbers guy, so it's like, okay, start the first week. My business gets these 12 hours.
That's
that
right.
gives me another, 6 hours.
Right.
Give my girl 3 hours. Is that adequate enough? Can
Right.
I give her 2 hours? She'd be adequate, and I could put this into my playing guitar, me time.
Right.
So I think like getting it and just that's just how my business was. Keep tweaking little things until it's running as efficiently as possible.
Right.
So.
So what do you think is that's so true? Balance and time in relationships and business and everything. So what about building a team? Because what he does, he's not by himself. I think your brother is the co-owner with you for Longevity Life.
Yeah.
So you have a team of people around you that's working with you. What does it take to run a good team and even to pick a good team?
I always like I was just talking to the film guy, giving someone that opportunity, someone that is willing, and then giving them that opportunity that I never had. That's what me and Justin both say, like, be that person that you wish you had.
Wow.
So I always like to be that. And actually, my father, before he passed, I got to spend his last couple months with him learning about him, because I spent 15 years not really knowing who he was and how he ran his business. And I said, how do you hire people? And he said, and it's funny because we're a lot alike in the sense, he's like, I would work alongside them. I would do everything that they do, and I would share my dreams and visions with them.
Wow.
He goes, and they would either gravitate towards that, or I'd find out quickly that they weren't into that, and then I would find new people. So I'm always sharing my visions and ideas and plans with my employees, and that helps keep them motivated and saying, oh, this is this, but it'll be this. Oh, we're gonna do supplements. Oh, we're gonna do protein bars. Like, oh, we're going to this event to film this. So like always keeping that energy high, I think is important in a workplace. Like all them good vibes, energy, and letting them know like what the dreams and the plans are of the company is.
Yeah, and what's crazy is that I do that, and I wasn't even aware of how strategic that is, because by you giving your vision and giving, what you want to, what you see happening to the people around you, they're able to now come into an agreement with you and work towards it. So everybody's working towards the same goal here. And then the people, I love the fact when I asked you, how do you pick the right people or whatever? It's like whoever gravitates towards your vision. So whatever you're trying to create, and you start sharing your gift with people and sharing what you're trying to do, if they gravitate towards it and they want to help, they're a part of it. If they don't, then they're just not meant to be there. What about when it comes to delegating duties? Like who does what?
So I'm reading a leadership book now, but what I try to do best is put people where they're most strong.
That's right.
And delegate a portion of that percentage to them to grow into what their weaknesses are.
Right. Come on, bro. I love leadership, bro. Yes, like that is so on point. Like, bro, 10s across the board. This is why Longevity Life is taking over the world, bro.
Hey.
I can't wait. We're going to be doing events and everything. Y'all will see it really soon. Do you have anything that you want to tell the people that's coming up or where they can find you at?
Like Instagram, Facebook, that sort of thing?
Yeah.
Oh, Instagram at Longevity Life, Longevity Life Program on Facebook.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're going to tag him too in this. We're tagging him in this too. But so, bro, first of all, I want to thank you for coming to the show. This was a dope, interview. My bro is super smart. But whenever I close the show, I always like to ask my guests, what are your words of wisdom? Like a mantra that you like to share with other people. What is it that you would say as your words of wisdom?
So I always refer to this. So I spent the first half of my life trying to expect something to come to my door, an opportunity, a job, something that was going to show up to me. Oh, I have these gifts and they're going to show up. But I realized that isn't how it works. It's going to take action. So once I started taking steps towards these goals, I realized that nothing's going to come to you, but it is waiting for you to go get it. So taking action is the answer. So
taking action, bro. Like somebody else who I had on the show recently, and my other guest, he might have been before you, said just do it or get up and do it. So, and then somebody else said just do it. I feel like that's been the common theme of just this season, which is like get up and do it. If there's something on your heart, get up and do it. You know what I mean? And y'all already know what mine is. You know what I'm saying? I said every single show, so y'all know what my words of wisdom is. It's time. Find freedom. It's time. Find
God.
Let's go. I love y'all, man. I ask you to like, comment, subscribe, and share with your peoples. Peace.
Peace.
The Freedom Experience.